take time away from the things of the world to focus on things of God, then there's fruit that's born. There are people who come to know Jesus. There are lives that are changed. There are chains or things that bind us, hold our hearts or hold our minds that are broken. And those victories are taking place in adults, and those victories are taking place in young people, and those victories are taking place in children during this sweet time. That's why there's so many extra family things, but you're getting to hear from different aspects. I wanted to get to hear from our youth camp and our children's camp today. A little more talking before you have to listen to me talk, but it's all God things and it's good things to share. Corey?
Thank you very much. Is Kay here? Is she here today? She's not? Okay.
Yes, she is.
Kay, can you come up here? I know. She's got that oh no look. It's okay. I just wanted her to be up here also for talking about the preteen stuff. We had an amazing 2 weeks with camp stuff, and there's the last 2 years we've had the youth up here and kind of got to let them share some of their hearts. I want to do something a little bit different this time though. And I didn't even tell her I was going to do this, so I hope she doesn't freak out. But and no, not you, Kay. Don't worry. You're not. I want to hear from somebody who's never been to camp before, as a child or as a sponsor. Not you. And I want you to hear just a small testimony of some of the things that happened at camp. And if she's willing, Ruth, would you be willing to share? I just saw her head. She has such a sweetheart. She came to camp at the last minute and volunteered to come. And this is way out of her element. She's going to be so uncomfortable standing here, so please just give her your attention. But I know what she experienced at camp and what she saw in the lives of these students and in herself is just such a sweet testimony. So I'm sorry. You can get me back later.
Oh, wow. You know, I when I was praying this morning, I thought, I sure hope he's not going to call on me. Lord, don't do this. Because, you know, I'm pretty private. I don't share much. I kind of try to support the church and Michael and Carol and try to do my part. But I've never been to camp. I've never been a sponsor. I didn't go to camp when I was a kid. This way outside my comfort level, I'll tell you that. But I knew that the Lord was calling on me because when Corey asked for help and when he said the kids won't get to go, I have a terribly soft heart for kids. Not that I have a lot of them, but I do have 9 grandchildren and a great-grandchild. And one of them, especially right back there, just holds my heart in his hand all the time. But I told the Lord, I said, all right, if this is what you want me to do, then you are going to have to do the leading because I have no idea what I'm going to do. So I came up here and I volunteered, and Corey said, you know, we might have another one. And I'm thinking, okay, good. That means I probably won't have to go. No. So I went, and I have to tell you, I was blessed beyond measure. God was so good. He carried me through, and I always brought up the rear. These kids have a lot more energy than I do. But the music was wonderful and very inspiring, and it touched my heart. We are so blessed to have these kids. They have a heart for God. We saw lots of examples that were not for God, but not our children. And I want you to know we are blessed to have Corey to be so dedicated. He's like a mother hen. He's counting heads the whole time. Counting those heads, you know. And he'd make sure that those kids were where they needed to be. And I was bringing up the rear, so I was last one in. But, you know, then he'd stand there counting those heads. And we were late one day because we were talking with a student. And when we got up over the hill, and I want you to know, folks, this is a great camp. All the cabins are on the outskirts, and everything is uphill on the other end. And I'll bet you we walked 5 miles a day. But Corey was standing up there at the top of the hill, pacing, because we were late. And as soon as we got up there, we told him why we were late, and he goes, "That's fine, that's fine." But I knew he was worried. But it was just timing, God's timing, and so he got the glory. But I was blessed, and I'm glad I went. I'm still in recovery mode, but I'm sure after next week, I'll either be numb or I'll be better. So thank you so much for your support, for your prayers, and for allowing us to take your kids. And they learned so much. We had 2 dedications, and it broke us. It just broke us. The tears were flowing. The makeup was gone. I mean, all his mascara ran off. Yeah, I mean, waterproof, whatever. But anyway, God bless you all.
Thank you, Ruth. Just one example, and the sponsors that went were amazing. They really were. It was a group that never been before as sponsors, and did an amazing job. But let me tell you, every year we talk about, and this is with youth camp, with preteen camp. We talk about every year this camp experience. And you go to camp and you have this wonderful experience, and most of y'all, you hear that we're leaving and we come back and camp went great, good, but you never really get to hear about the details of camp. And I just want to tell you, there's so many amazing things that went on at this camp. God did an amazing work, but He's always doing an amazing work. It's just for a week we opened our eyes and we opened our ears to hear and see what He was doing. And it really was such a sweet time. But we always talk about this camp experience like it's a one-time thing. Six Flags is an experience. God changes lives. And so what we had at this camp was some life changes. But guys, I'll tell you, and this is with both camps. That's why I want to Kay up here too. There's so much that is hitting these students. And I just want to ask, just for a moment, if you went to camp, youth, can y'all stand up? Okay, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're not sitting over here, you are over here. Okay, preteens, if you went to camp, can y'all stand up? Okay, whether you went to camp or not, you're under 18 years old. Can you stand up? Okay, there's a lot of folks. Some are just like, I really don't want to stand up. But I see a lot of you. All right, go ahead and take a seat. There is so much hitting these students every day. There is temptations and struggles that are hitting them, whether in their schools, their homes, whatever it may be. And something the camp pastor did to us one night is when he did an invitation for students to stand up, and he did it in a way I've never seen before. Most of the time you go to camps and they play the really soft music, they turn the lights down low, they really try to draw the emotion. He didn't do any of that. He said, if you're making a commitment tonight, stand up. Stand up right here in the middle of everybody. But something he did is he called out the youth pastors too. He said, now y'all stand up. If you're willing to walk with one of these students for at least a year, to disciple them, to grow them, to shape them, you stand up. And so today, what I want to tell you is there's so much hitting these students, and they need your prayerful support. They need your guidance. They need us walking with them every day. They just need so much. And what they need is folks discipling them every day. And that's where I come in, your parents come in, each of you in this church. And you may say, well, I'm so distant from the youth, or I'm separated from the things of the youth. And that's why I wanted Ruth to come up here, because Ruth said, I'd never been a part of these things, and she just had a willing heart. That was it. Just a willing heart, and she did amazing. Don't think you don't have a place to walk with these students, or to guide these students, or to love on these students, or any of that stuff. We all have such an amazing opportunity to disciple and grow these students. And so I'm going to ask you today, students, all you students again, I want to ask you to stand up. And I'm going to ask you adults, if you're looking at these students and you're saying, I am willing to walk with these students, however long, we're not going to put a year on it, I'm willing to help grow them, help pray for them, help disciple them, help do anything to put into the lives of these students to make sure we're raising up godly men and women to go out from this church to be missionaries for the world. If you're saying, I'm willing to do that, could y'all just stand up? Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead and be seated. Students, I want you to see the love that this church puts into y'all. And the prayer and the support, and thank you guys. There is so many opportunities for us to always put into these ministries, and that's for preteens, that's for youth, and there's just such an amazing opportunity in this church. But let's not let it be an experience. Let's let what God is doing in our lives be life-changing, growing us and shaping us every day into the people He's called us to be. And let's continue to put into these ministries, put into these students, and we will see young men and women growing up out of this church to change this world. Because they're going to change it one way or the other, either for the glory of God or for the glory of the world. Let's help them change it for the glory of God. Kay, do you have anything you want to mention?
Just a couple of things that we would like to say to you guys. You don't know how very much important it is because these kids are walking through a lot of things. Even our preteens and our grade school kids, they're seeing and experiencing things that usually is seen in our high school kids. So if we touch the lives of those kids then and now, then maybe we can detour them as they start getting into high school and getting them down the right path. So we had a lot of challenges at camp, and God showed me by the second day, we had some little bit of frustrations and everything, but I was just praying that night in church, and one of the kids that was very challenging came up and asked me for his Bible. He said, I need to look up Psalm 91, and he took his Bible back up to the front. So then I had to ask God, because I was trying to text his parent to come pick him up, and God was just saying, slow down, Kay, sit back, take a breath, you're overreacting, just listen and follow me and trust me. So we did, and it was really a good thing, because we never know how much, like the seed that Michael's been talking about, we can take these kids, and this may be the only time they ever hear or see anything about God. So you just have to take them and let the word be spoken around them, pray, and walk in faith, and pray that God will touch their lives and change them, because we are that opportunity for a lot of our children. So while we were there, we kept running into the lady that runs the AFCC Cowboy Church camps, and we ran into her several times. So one night we did not go to our events that night, because the first night the kids were kind of tired, they were getting acclimated to the heat. Anyways, we ran into Connie several times, and the girls here were talking about maybe being in the future being camp wranglers. Okay, so we ran into her, and she kind of led and told us what these girls need to be doing in the next year to prepare for Camp Wrangler for the future for the AFCC Cowboy churches. So it was really an exciting time, and they would like to share with you what their homework is for the next year.
Hi, I'm Katie. Most of y'all might not know me, and this is Hannah. We went as sponsors for the preteen camp, and I have to tell you, it was really an amazing experience. It was nothing I could really ever imagine, because we were the fun ones. We kept them pumped and going, and to see what God does in these little kids' lives, it's really amazing about how they answered during church time. I would have never stepped up and answered. They're just so wise, and how God moves through them. It's really amazing. My jaw just dropped when it came to church time, and that's basically our project for the next year. And we are starting kind of like a girls' Bible study. It's me, Hannah, and Rachel Howard, and the Howard girls. We're all going to get together and start it to kind of move the older preteens up into the youth, and just anyone that wants to come, any girls, young youth girls that want to come, just come, and we can learn about the Lord and go through His Word. And we want to teach them to be young, womanly figures that God really has for their lives. So, Hannah.
They did an amazing job. They went as junior sponsors. Garrett and Landon also did a great job, and you would have been very proud of watching these youth put into the lives of these preteens, and just seeing these ministries come together and what God is doing through them. So thank you all for your prayer and your support, and let's continue to watch what God's going to do through this ministry. Thank you all.